What's up, y'all? Kyle Hamilton here. I want to give a quick shout out to Lucas, Connor, and Ryan in the Week 0 podcast.
Jackson rolling out, 3rd and 7 after the penalty, and it's a completion to Kuma. He's still running. Kuma breaks free against a tire defense as the Hokies deliver the dagger here in Tallahassee. Empty look for Richardson. Oh, that is danger! Oh my! Keidron Smith cuts inside, and he's gonna pick six it in the swamp. Cat scratch Fever Smith.
DJ is picked off, intercepted again by Benjamin Morrison. Here goes Morrison down the sideline. Can he go? Yes, he can. Touchdown, pick six, Benjamin Morrison. Nix drops back underneath. Touchdown, Ducks. Wow. Chase Taylor.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Gold Standard. I am your host, Ryan Fravel, with my co-host, Sean, at Indy Forever on Twitter, with a very special guest, 4-star defensive lineman, Notre Dame commit, Davion Dixon, out of Miami, Florida. Davion, how are you doing, my man?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Doing
Good.
pretty well.
Is it just me, or is it more zoomed in than it was earlier? I feel like it's like closer up on my face.
But anyways, so, Davion, you were the first commit in the 2025 class for Notre Dame. So tell us what it was like going through the recruiting process, so early in your recruitment. Why was Notre Dame the decision for you?
I mean, it was pretty fun and stressful at first. And then when you get, we visit schools, it was pretty fun. But, when I went to Notre Dame, it felt, special and it felt like home to me. And, I know, Notre Dame is very special. So I wanted to be a part of that specialness.
For sure. Sean?
So before the show, guys, you can boo or like it. Davion told me he was a Cowboys fan. So, Davion, if you had to compare yourself to either one NFL player you've seen or Cowboys player, who would you say that you try to model your game after?
Probably Aaron Donald for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
I like that.
You can't go wrong with Aaron Donald.
So obviously, like I said, your recruiting process took off pretty quick. You made a decision also pretty quick. In terms of your recruitment, who on the Notre Dame coaching staff was the most influential in getting your commit?
I would say probably Coach Washington for sure.
What about Coach Washington, was a little different than other D-line coaches that you've spoken with?
What was your question?
What about Al Washington was a little different? Like, what made him a step above other defensive coordinators and stuff that you've seen?
Yeah, I just felt like he can develop me the most and can make me to a Hall of Fame player in the future. But I just like everything about him.
Has there been any, current players or commits that you've gotten to grow close with since you've committed, or how's that been for you?
I mean, I was there last weekend in Notre Dame and Justin, when he just committed to running back.
Yeah, Justin Thurman, yeah.
And me and him got close. And I talked to Nate Roberts too. He was in there badly, so I couldn't talk to him in person, but I have his number once a week probably. So
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts on the green jerseys when they were announced?
I think they're the best jerseys of all time, in my opinion.
What'd you think of the video, with Audric Estime and Marcus Freeman?
So at first, I liked it at first, and my mom was like, "Do you know where that came from?" I was like, "No, what happened? Can I guess it off a movie or something?" And so then she was like, "You should watch it. You'll understand why." Watching, I was like, "Oh, this makes so much sense." I was like, it was pretty.
Sean?
That's a classic right there.
Yeah.
When you or is that are the alternate jerseys that the Shamrock series, the uniforms Notre Dame wears. Is that something that makes you excited, or is that something that you look forward to every year, like seeing yourself in like green jerseys, seeing yourself in those shoes?
Yeah, hopefully I can I can wear the green jerseys for sure. Favorite. But
Yeah.
hopefully when I go, have like a new type of jersey, a new style, you know. But I like both of those jerseys.
So as like something as a recruit, because we've asked a few recruits this, what do the jerseys, like the gear, does that stuff have any impact in like when you guys make a decision?
Not to me. No. I took a couple pictures of the store the pads jersey pants on, but I like the cleats to be honest. Got to go play. That's just my opinion.
All right.
So when it came to Notre Dame, right? You visited, and like Ryan, you said very quickly, you were like, this is home. What has made Notre Dame home? Was it the campus? Was it the weather? Was it the team? Was it the coaching staff? Have you grown close to them as a family? What has been the thing to make them feel more homey for you?
I mean, number one, it's a Catholic school. I love Jesus and all. I was raised Catholic, going to church every weekend. That stands out to me the most. And like you said, the family part, yeah, we growing closer as a family, getting closer to the coaches. And I love how the school is like, in the code. So, I was growing in Tennessee, so I'm used to the code in Colorado. So I kind of miss the snow. So that's why I'm trying to go back up north.
Awesome.
Well, you'll definitely play in a lot of snowstorms at Notre Dame. That's that's a thing that happens there. So I'm going to kind of steal your question from last show, Sean. We asked Justin Thurman this, and we got a really cool answer. So Davion, was there ever a nickname that you grew up being called, or that you would like to stick when you go to Notre Dame?
I have a lot growing up actually. They call me Big 60. I hope that name with me too. So
I like that. I like that.
Sick. Every single time you get a sack, I'm telling you, all the fans are going to be saying that.
Yeah, you heard it here first. So do you have any like big interest outside of football? I know when we were talking off air, you mentioned fishing. You watched NASCAR a lot growing up. Is there anything else that you have a hobby? Anything else that Notre Dame fans should know about you?
I'm a big NASCAR dude for sure. Like football don't work out. Like I hope I can work for NASCAR. Be probably like a tire changeman or a jackman. I want to like get involved with the cars and all. But that's probably what I would do if football didn't work out.
I was about to ask with the 4 for 40. A lot of people say after football, what Notre Dame degree can propel for your future degree, if after football or during. And you mentioned NASCAR. What is do you have a engineering degree? What is the type of degree plan you feel as of right now that you might go for?
Well, I have like two different paths. There's NASCAR, and I want to do business and probably come back to Miami and work with electric cars. Because a Notre Dame diploma is pretty big, and I think I can work for like Lamborghini, Ferrari, all of them. So that's probably another way I can do after football.
Okay.
What is kind of piggybacking off that? What is your favorite car? Do you have a favorite vehicle, like your dream car?
I got plenty of them. I like Hellcats. I like all black Broncos. It's so nice to me. A Ford 350 for sure. My dad used to have one, so I love them now. I want a Porsche for sure, and a G-Wagon.
Yeah, see, Davion is my man. Like I'm a big Hellcat guy.
Yeah.
I just bought my first one.
For real?
It's a Go Mango orange, so it's that like bright
Nice.
orange with the blackout package.
That's
So
nice.
it's nice. It's got the kick to it though. Like you got to get used to it. Like I've driven other cars. It's just different.
I had a supervisor that had a Hellcat, and he used to call it the kitty. So now every time I see a Hellcat, I'm like the kitty every time.
Hey man, it purrs. It definitely purrs.
I like it's so nice, man.
Yeah,
Like going down the highway, you can just like ram it up and you just hear it. It's so nice.
dude. Anytime I go on the highway and like I'll get somebody in like a 1990 Ford F-150. Like it's always them that want to race me, and I'm like, dude, you don't do that. Don't do that.
Dude, and I mean, Hellcats are you could live in that car. I mean, you have everything you need. So
Davion, did you ever have a favorite college football team growing up, or a team that you rooted for specifically?
Well, I used to live with my uncle, and he was like a big UT fan, University of Texas. So every Saturday we used to watch them. So honestly, like, I don't really have them growing up. Just we was watching UT every weekend. So I just stick with them until all these off.
So, for Irish Nation all around, as you know, and I probably have gotten to see, Notre Dame fans are very supporting. I'm sure every time you make a tweet or something, they love to flood your mentions. But what is something that Irish Nation that you'd like for them to know as a player or a person about you that they're getting?
I'm very humbled. I'm blessed. I'm glad I'm in this situation that I'm in. You know, hope to bring home the title for them, 2025, 2026 for sure. But yeah, that's all for right now.
Do you have any connections with any current Notre Dame players that are on the team? I know you said you talked to Nate Roberts, and you have his number. I know you talked to Justin Thurman. Are there any other guys that you had connections with or spoken with in the past?
Yeah, I talked to CJ Carr. I talked to Sam Hartman a couple of times actually. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought they were like mostly 24 commits. Then I think I talked to the new defensive end from OSU. He just transferred in.
Javante Jean-Baptiste.
Yeah, I talked to Notre Dame. There's all this information and all. But that's all.
What has it been like, since you're a class behind, the 24 class is getting ready to sign here in a few months. So has it been like a learning to see how they've been developed as recruits, seeing what their recruitment was like, or have the conversations just been like, Notre Dame, we're going, and then just getting to know each other as people before y'all are teammates?
I mean, we got to know each other more. I was more curious about like the recruitment and all for 24. So I asked them and all what's this, what's that, what does this mean, But it was just more connecting, get a little vibe and grow a brotherhood.
Okay.
Do you have
go ahead.
a favorite football moment? I know you just started for you as you playing. I know you just started getting into football not too long ago. But do you have a play or a moment in your playing career that every time you see it or think of it, you just get excited?
I'll say when I got my first sack, probably. That was one of the biggest moments for me. I was like, oh wow, I finally got a quarterback. So I'll get more later on, but that's all the top of my board.
Yeah. They had me play when I was in middle school. They had me play DN because I was a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't like this because you get off the edge, and I would get off the edge all the time, but I had to chase quarterbacks all the time, like those ones that could elude. And I'm like, man,
I hate that.
That's why I switched to running back. I'm like, man, I can't do that. So what are your thoughts on what Marcus Freeman is doing at Notre Dame? Obviously he came in just a couple years ago after Brian Kelly left for LSU. What are your thoughts on what he's doing at Notre Dame and how he's changing the culture?
I think he's doing an amazing job, to be honest. I just think we have a little more pieces, he can put together a nice little season, probably to 4 probably. But I think he's doing pretty good.
Are you going to any games this year, or any that you're looking forward to that you're excited for?
Yeah, I probably might go to OSU versus Notre Dame. Sure. I'll go up there. I'll have a game that week. So I'll try to,
It's because the green jerseys. I mean,
It's because the green jersey. Yeah. Be like, you'll go on the field and, hey, Marcus Freeman, can I cop one of those real quick before I go back home? Like,
he's going to tell you to go to Notre Dame bookstore.
Oh man, but so where do you see yourself playing at Notre Dame? I know obviously you play defensive line. I mean, do you see yourself playing, nose tackle? Do you see yourself playing strong side end? Where do you see yourself fitting in on that Notre Dame defense?
I think I'll play a nose tech probably, and probably a 3 tech. We saw 3 tech probably.
Okay. Do you what do you think is your strongest trait as a interior defensive lineman?
I think my power, to be honest. My explosiveness and power, I think that's like one of my best traits.
What is something that going into your junior season this year that you'd like to improve on in your game?
I think it's more of my hands, like use my hands more and coming off a little faster to do. But it's just probably those two right now.
Okay. Sean?
So I always like to ask, I guess, recruits this because some people care, some people don't. Sometimes it's motivating. But, you see all these recruiting sites and these rankings for you, 4-star, 3-star, depending on where you look. Seeing people as 5. Is that a motivating thing, stars, or is that something you're just like, I don't care, I'm playing the best I can, I got what I need? Or
honestly, I don't really look at that because I feel like I'm the best in the nation for my position. I guess people, I feel like I think no one's like a true nose like I am. That's most powerful and as close to that I am. So I don't really care, to be honest. I go on the field, what I gotta do, handle my business, and win us the game.
What matters is what you think.
Yeah. As we talked about numerous times on this show, Sean, our rankings are just a number. Yeah. Rankings don't mean anything once you get on campus. We've seen 5-stars that have went on campus and never played it down. We've seen 3-stars that have ended up being NFL Hall of Famers. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter. But real quick, one last question for you, Davion, from me before we let you get out of here. We got to know, because there was a thing going on social media when Michigan and Notre Dame had their cookouts. Picture floated around about the cookout that Michigan had with the Sam's Club mac and cheese and the Oscar Mayer hot dogs. So we gotta know, Davion. Make Notre Dame Nation feel better about it, so we know what the food was actually like. It wasn't that bad, was it?
No, it was actually pretty good. I actually like it. I went back in second, so I don't.
He's like, it was actually pretty good. No,
What did you guys have at the cookout?
I've seen a bunch of tweets. Sometimes you look at some brisket that
brisket's good.
Some people are cooking. Some people it's over. It's like all burnt. Some people is like, here's some frozen food. So I'm glad that y'all are actually getting some good food.
Yeah, it was more burgers, hot dogs, macaroni. That was the best one, I think, macaroni. Potatoes, brisket, like you said, fruit, ice cream, delicious.
I heard they had recruits make their own steak.
Yeah.
How did that turn out, Davion? I gotta know. We gotta know.
We got cheated out of because our steak was literally the best. I'm telling you right now, I don't care what the 24 class says. Our steak was the best. Every coach you can name came to our table and got a piece of our steak. The hell is that good?
I think I heard that the 25 classes was still mooing. So I don't know.
No, man. Like, so Davion, like, are you going to be? Were you the one that made it, or like who did what?
I did the seasoning and the grilling, so I think I did all of it. In my opinion.
So we got Chef Davion basically over here.
I'm asking if I can cook them right now, but I don't think it's gonna let me.
It's good practice, though.
Yeah, for sure. So, Sean, you got anything else for Davion before we let him go?
I don't think so. Just thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure meeting you and talking to you. Irish Nation's always going to be there for you. So if you ever need anything, Irish Nation's got your back.
For sure. And like I said, Davion, I appreciate you coming on, man. Huge thank you to you for taking the time. I know you got a busy schedule. So yeah, huge shout out to you, man. Thank you for coming on. It's a pleasure having you on and answering some questions for us.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate y'all.
All right, man. You take care.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Dude, what is in your background?
What do you mean? Oh, that's my dog.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my dog. Yeah, she's going wild right now because she can't get in my office, so she's howling. I got a black and tan coonhound puppy, so yeah, she's sitting there having a howling fit right now. But anyway, man, another great interview. Sean, what are your thoughts on Davion Dixon? What do you think he brings to the 2025 class?
He's unlike any other defensive tackle that we've had, power-wise in his tape. And like he said, the things that he said he wanted to prove on, I mean, he's got 2 years to improve on them. So even coming into camp or going to school, he's gonna be a great interior defensive lineman, and he's one that's gonna be playing pretty early. So.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah, I mean, and we don't have a true nose tackles. I mean, we don't have a lot of true nose tackles
outside of Sean Civillano.
Yeah,
I really don't.
And I prefer Davion than Sean Civillano as a player. I feel like Davion's more. How do I put this? I feel like he's come along more when it comes to the skills of, using his power correctly, right?
Yeah. And think about it. He's a high 3-star right now. He is the number 367th ranked player in the 2025 class.
Yeah,
that will skyrocket.
I like that he said that he feels he's the best defensive tackle in the world, right? So I like that confidence.
Now, one thing with Davion Dixon, I'm sure you've seen it, is that a lot of other schools are now starting to come after him pretty heavy. Florida State, Florida, some other SEC schools have, been hitting him up. Are you worried about, Davion maybe being a potential flip candidate, or do you think this sticks for Notre Dame?
I mean, of course he's a Notre Dame type of guy. I mean, I don't really think that's a good topic to have, with him on the show. But I don't think that he is going to flip at all. I mean, we talked to him. He's a great Notre Dame type of guy. He said that, what he loves about him is that he's a Catholic. He loves the Catholic affiliations with the university. He's got a great relationship with the coaching staff. So those great things about the school, I don't think he's going to waver. I mean, he committed pretty early. There's tons of people going after him because he's the best defensive tackle in the world, right? So you got to expect people to come talk to him. So if all these schools, I mean, it's stressful on him.
I know. Yeah, I'm sure. I was more coming from, that Notre Dame fans were worried about it, him being from Florida, the South. I think it's just more, I don't even think it's really anything towards Davion. I think it's just more, we were scorned with Keon Keeley. We were scoring with Justin Scott from our own backyard.
Yeah.
But I've never thought that he would, he was the type of kid that would flip. But I was just more asking because I know that's a big worry right now with his commitment, as Notre Dame fans are worried about that. But just talking to him,
let's just say he
go ahead.
wouldn't come on our show
Yeah.
if he was wavering.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. I mean, he's going to get people hitting him up, especially he's super talented and it's early in his class. He'll rise up the rankings. People see his talent. He's going to get calls. He chose Notre Dame. He'll stick with this commitment.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think he's you tell me what you think, but I think he's a top 10 defensive line prospect in this class. I think he's that talented. I think, him already being a high 3-star and he hasn't even played a junior year of high school football yet. Just wait until after he's got 2 more years to improve, people. I mean, that to me is insane. But I agree. I mean, we've had him on the show. Just after talking to him, I feel like he's a Notre Dame kid. He's not the type of kid that would flip. He's not the type of kid that would waver. I think he's going to stay Notre Dame. And, man, is the 2025 class shaping up better or to be better than the 2024 class?
It's so early. Just depends on what we get at other positions. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, how the 2024 class started after the 23, I was like, 2024 class is going to be the best class we've ever had.
And actually, believe it or not, the 2023 class was better in terms of overall how many top 300 recruits we had.
Yeah. So it blew my mind. I mean, especially early on when you expect to land the likes of Scott, Peyton Woodyard, other good players. But
I know we thought we were going to get Ryan Wingo, Jeremiah McClellan.
So it's tough, but there's a lot of, we were crystal balled for got taken away for a 5-star cornerback or safety or something in 2025 class. So it's so early that I'm not getting my hopes up yet for it. If we land a Deuce Knight to go with Davion, Nate Roberts, the Terminator, we're getting another running back. We're going to get both our running backs really early in the process, which is perfect. Don't even got to worry about running back. I mean, that's our best position arguably on the team right now. So it's safe to say it just depends on what we land at these positions. Who we land at quarterback, what we get at offensive line, and what we get. This is a pretty big safety class. We're going to need some good safeties. So
we just had a crystal ball for Ethan Long, who I don't know if you saw my tweet on him. I think he is one of the top safeties in the class, and I know he's a top target for Notre Dame. The kid I think he's 6'2", 6'3", as a safety. Got a long wingspan. He's just like that Kyle Hamilton type where he's so long and lengthy and athletic. If we can get him, Deuce Knight right now is looking really good. Tom Lloyd put a crystal ball in for him. I mean, this 2025 class is shaping up to be insane.
I saw a topic that was interesting about crystal balls, and I kind of agree with it. So you can put crystal balls in and then say, oh, never mind, I think they're going to go here, go back and forth, right? I feel like there should be something, I think someone just said something about Tom Lloyd taking a crystal ball off of a certain prospect. I think if you put a crystal ball on someone and you take it off of them, that should impact their accuracy.
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing with On 3. On 3 does, Mike Singer from On 3, he doesn't do that. He sticks with his prediction.
Yeah, and I mean, because then it's like, oh, I'm 95% accurate with what I feel about these recruits.
Which doesn't mean anything because
the ball is off.
How many times do we get a recruitment like KVA where it's not already a silent commit and those guys already know where he's going?
Or how many times where, a Brendan Vernon, he was crystal balled heavily to Ohio State. Emil Wagner, Kentucky, everyone thought, right? So I feel like if you obviously if you get it wrong, that impacts their score. But if they change their prediction, which makes them be more careful with their selections, I think that should be a strong case when it comes to recruiting. Because I'm sure a lot of fans are tired of, I think this guy's going to be crystal balled like a Peyton Woodyard, but it's so early in the process, and then he gets crystal balled to Georgia, right?
Yeah, and I don't think, if you put in a crystal ball, because, like, say, for instance, like a Ryan Wingo were to say, hey, like, I'm silently committed to Ohio State, and you put a crystal ball in, how is that a crystal ball? You're supposed to predict, not get told where the kid's going.
You're supposed to predict, not get told, because I'll be honest, like, it's so funny. Like, with, I love Mike Singer and all these recruiting analysts, and they do a really good job. I think my favorite has to be, man, why am I drawing blank right now? I love him. I love seeing his work. On three. Help me out here.
Tyler Horka?
I love Tyler Horka.
Yeah.
Dude the beast. But I feel like when it comes to that kind of stuff, like, it's like, oh man, like we see it. On social media and stuff. So it's like, oh yeah, man, I got a big crystal ball for you. This guy's about to commit. Obviously. Like, we all know, like, he was about to commit. But it's fun to look at. What do you think of this Dante, off topic? It came up today, so I had to bring it up. What do you think of the Dante Moore situation with UCLA? Have you heard he might leave? Yeah. That's funny.
I kind of think we dodged a bullet there.
I think he could start this year for UCLA. So
He's not looking good. Was it Hunter? Was it Garbers or something like that? Ethan Garbers, the transfer from Cal, is looking like he's going to be the starter. I don't know, man.
Notre Dame fans were so beat up about Dante Moore.
See, I wasn't. The only reason I wasn't because I thought CJ Carr was better than Dante Moore. Like, I genuinely thought that CJ Carr was better. And once
better?
That's close. That's close. I think Minchie might have a slight edge, but it's also not, it's just his attitude. And, the whole thing with his uncle kind of directing him towards schools based off of how much money they could give him.
I mean, you got to think of it like this, in a sense, with the NFL, right? Think of it as Deshaun Watson attitude. I absolutely don't like Deshaun Watson, right?
See, I liked him when he was at Clemson, but
you think Deshaun Watson on the Browns, and then let me think of another NFL quarterback, Kirk Cousins, in a sense, right? I think, is Kirk Cousins better because Deshaun Watson's more talented, right? He just has some off the field issues. I'm not saying Dante Moore's going to have the off the field issues, but is that what you're kind of saying? You prefer Minchie because of that, like Minchie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still think Minchie's a pretty damn good quarterback. He has I think him and Dante Moore, their games kind of reflect each other a lot.
I think Dante Moore is more ready now than Minchie. More ready. But
from everything I've heard in camp, Minchie has had a lot of the best throws that the Notre Dame staff and writers have seen while they've been at practice.
Oh my God. Have you seen Rico Flores?
Yes.
Oh, man.
You know what was hilarious? I don't know if you saw it. There was a video going out. Him and they were doing this drill where you had the goal was it's like a kick return drill where you've got to block on the kick return and keep the person running down from touching this dummy. And Jaden Mickey and Rico Flores went at it 4 times in a row. And Jaden Mickey absolutely bullied Rico Flores the first time. Every rep, Rico got better and better, but he still lost to Jaden Mickey. And Jaden Mickey was not having it. He was in his face, jawing at him the entire time. And then that catch that you've seen that went out where he dove and caught it, that was on Jaden Mickey.
Yeah.
So I like those two going at it. I saw Benjamin Morrison going at it with Jaden Thomas. It looks like Jaden Thomas is going to be our number one.
It's going to be Thomas, Tobias, and in the slot, it's going to be
Chris Tyree.
Tyree or Colsey.
Yeah.
So, and then they'll sub in some of the freshmen. And then tight end, it's looking really open right now.
Yeah.
I can't.
I saw, was there a quote that said that this is Notre Dame has had better groups of tight ends before? Like that was a quote by a coach. So that doesn't very make me kind of excited about the tight end position, but
Hey, I've heard Cooper Flanagan's looked really good.
I've heard Holden Stays too. Holden Stays has been good.
Yeah.
Mitchell Evans looks like he's just going to be a blocker.
It doesn't sound like Mitchell Evans is progressing as the tight end one, like everyone was hoping he would. And I'm okay with him playing. I think I'd prefer to see a Eli Raridan when he comes back, or Holden Stays as the main tight end, someone young. Nate Roberts.
Are we going to continue doing the on a 4th and goal from 1, 4th and 1? Are we going to still do the Mitchell Evans QB sneak?
Dude, I don't get why people were so mad about that in the USC game. Like, people were like, oh, such idiots. Like, it wasn't going to work. That play had 100% success rate before they did it. Idiots. Why are you mad? It's all right.
Now, I wouldn't expect him to go 3 yards, but maybe 2. But no, I feel like we should still utilize that because teams haven't proved they can consistently stop that. And would you rather have Sam Hartman risking injury doing that, or have your tight end?
Not Daddy. Nope, Daddy.
I'd rather risk Mitchell Evans getting in there and getting.
Sorry, Mitchell Evans, we love you. We'll risk you for Sam Hartman any day. It's actually cool that Davion has spoken to Hartman a bit, but this is going to be a big season. I think Notre Dame goes 11-1, 10-2 with the schedule. They're not losing all 3 games. Ohio State, USC, Clemson. They're at least winning.
I've seen people say 8-4. I'm like, where do you?
Not with Sam Hartman.
No, maybe if we had Drew Pine, we go 8-4.
If we had Drew Pine, I'd be there. But think about this. We got a decent offensive line. Our running back room's insane. Our receivers are better than last year, and we have arguably the best quarterback we've had since Brady Quinn. Okay? Then you look at the defensive side of the ball. Our defensive backs, specifically cornerbacks, are stacked, right? Safeties, it's very similar to last year's room, but I think it's going to be similar to last year's room. So we might see big plays happen again. But defensive line, I've heard some of the young guns have stepped up. So we can expect defensive line play to be decent, especially with Botello. I love Botello. And then our linebackers, I've heard of all 3 starters, Maurice, Bertrand, and Kaiser, have just looked amazing. And then Drake and Preston and Jaden Osbury have looked amazing as well. So when they're gone, they're coming right in. And they're going to get some snaps to develop. It's not going to be all on the seniors again. Yep. Have them come in, sub in, give them a little break, give them some reps. This is a big season for Notre Dame. This is a big season for Marcus Freeman, because if he does worse than 10-2, people are going to be like, if he doesn't win a New Year's Six Bowl with Sam Hartman, people are going to start to be like, is Marcus Freeman the fit at Notre Dame? And I think he is. I'm just saying that's what's going to happen.
2 points on what you just said. Drake Bowen, there was a clip of him He did a nice, beautiful swim move. They were doing running back blocking drills, and he went up against Audric Estime. And, Audric Estime, in my opinion, is an elite pass blocker from the running back position. He reminds me a little bit of Kyron, where he just gets down and dirty, and he's very aggressive when he's blocking. But Jarek Bowen did a really beautiful spin move and just pushed Audric out of the way as a freshman. I mean, you could also say maybe Audric wasn't trying as hard because it's not like a live game rep. But and another thing is Riley Mills. He was a guy. Riley Mills is a guy that last year I was kind of disappointed in. I thought for what he can be, he didn't, show out like he was supposed to. I think he had a pretty subpar year for himself. I thought him and Foskey were going to be killer, and turned out just Foskey was. But Riley Mills has gained weight, and see him throw Blake Fisher.
I read that they were jawing. They were jawing at practice, and then he just threw him like that, like he was nothing. I was like, "Hey, Marcus Freeman, I know you saw that clip of him saying we need to fucking go, get our shit, together and kill it." That. Hell yes. That shows how much of a motivator and coach he is, and how good of one he is, and how good of a person he is outside of coaching.
But I need to see Riley Mills do that during the season.
Oh my God!
Because
imagine Ohio State just
and that offensive line for Ohio State is atrocious. They lost their two starting tackles. No, those guys are going to be.
I mean, it's safe to say, I'm not going to say the whole offensive line is going to suck. One of those young guys are going to step up. It's going to happen.
But those guys won't be as good as Paris Campbell was.
Nope. And my friends ask me, why do you think Notre Dame wins against Ohio State? Home, green jerseys. They have no offensive line. It's early in the season, so they're
an unproven quarterback.
No. We have Sam Hartman. I think we beat Ohio State. I hope we beat USC. I would be pissed if I went to that game and we lost, but
I think that USC game is just going to be an offensive explosion. I think it's going to be whoever can stop who first is going to win that game. Whoever gets the most stops. But no, and then overall, I mean, I've just been impressed, like I said, with Benjamin Morrison and Jaden Mickey. I think our cornerback, there was a question that went around on the message boards, and I'll ask you this, and we'll get out of here. When is the last time Notre Dame has had an elite level quarterback, an elite level offensive line, a good receiving core, elite running backs, an elite defensive backfield, and a really solid, good defense?
I mean, you could argue, not all of them, but 2012 with how solid that defense was and how good that offensive line was, and the running backs stepped up. They weren't as good as the room we have now, but they stepped up. Golson was an elite quarterback by any means, or Reese at that point.
He could have been. I still argue that Everett Golson could have won a Heisman at Notre Dame if he didn't get into the off-the-field stuff he had go on.
Yeah, didn't he cheat on a test?
He got suspended for 2 years. People forget that. After the national championship game, he missed 2013. Well, no, he didn't. Yeah, he missed 2013 and part of 2014 and came back in 2015.
I mean, you don't see a freshman at Notre Dame go undefeated. I used to love Everett Golson. I used to love it. But yeah, I'd argue 2012.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we had elite corners back then, but
didn't we had Bennett Jackson, Martheus Farley as a safety, and then we had did we have Cole Luke then? Did we have Cole
I think
Luke?
so.
Yeah, I mean those were solid corners. Nothing like elite like the ones we have. Not like Benjamin, but Bennett Jackson was no slouch.
Who are you putting on Marvin Harrison Jr.? You putting Jaden Mickey or you putting Ben Morrison?
I'm putting Jaden Mickey. Just because,
Really?
well, I mean, Jaden Mickey's going to piss him off with his mouth. And Jaden Mickey's going to talk his shit. Well, actually, I mean,
Do you
Jaden
really
Mickey's
want
not
that?
starting. He's
Do
gonna
you
be
want
rotation.
Jaden Mickey talking his shit to Marvin Harrison?
So it's going to be Benjamin Morrison, Cam Hart on the outside with Clarence Lewis as a slot corner. And then they'll have Thomas Harper, nickel type player, probably maybe even safety rotational. I don't see Mickey starting this year, but I see him rotating in a shit ton, right? So
So do you just give Ben Morrison a break at times and put Jaden Mickey on Harrison?
You ain't getting past me, bitch. Drop pass. And then Benjamin Morrison comes in, he's locked up. But let's not act like Marvin Harrison's not going to get 10 catches, 100 yards against us. I mean, Marvin Harrison's probably the best wide receiver prospect in the last 5 years. I mean, he's going to be a top 5 pick. Arizona Cardinals, please. So I'm hoping my Cardinals get Caleb Williams and get Marvin Harrison in the draft with their 2 first-round picks.
Dude. So then I'm guessing you're going to put Cam Hart on Emeka Egbuka, the guy that killed us last year. See, so this is my thing. I obviously know it was last year, but Jaden Mickey started last year. We forget that against Ohio State, he started on the other end against I think he was covering Egbuka or JSN. It was one of the two. And he got burnt a lot. And I know that he was a freshman and it was at Ohio State week 1.
Game.
Yeah. But he looked like a
freshman.
He looked like a lost puppy out there.
Yeah.
But that's probably on the coaches. But no, I just that gives me nightmares. And also Cam Hart. Cam Hart didn't have any excuses and he got burned by Egbuka a lot. Remember that one where he caught, it was like an out route and Cam Hart over pursued it and got outran to the end zone for the game, like the touchdown that gave Ohio State the lead.
We led all the way till the third quarter.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Hey, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
They're going to beat Navy by 3 scores.
Oh,
So.
You don't think it? I think 4. I'm going 4 scores.
At least 3.
I want to see
going to be bad this year.
I got to see what Navy brings out for the game. I got to see the Navy jerseys.
I'm worried about injuries. But a part of me is I'm glad we're getting Navy out the way at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, because we've had basically all camp to get ready for it, and we'll have 3 weeks to get ready for it still.
I'm nervous about NC State. That's probably one of the most nervous I am for a game. I think that's a big trap game.
Sam Hartman lost to NC State last year.
He didn't have as good a talent around him. But.
Yeah. But that game, I think he lost at NC State last year. It was a close game though. But we'll see. They got Brendan Armstrong. We'll see how that goes.
He was good with UVA against us.
Yeah, and he only sucked last year because the offensive coordinator was Tony Elliott, or his head coach was Tony Elliott, and they got rid of his offensive coordinator. So now he's rejoined with that same OC in NC State. But anyway, Sean, great show as always. It was a pleasure speaking to Davion Dixon. Anyways, guys, this has been the Gold Standard. I am your host, Ryan Fravel, with my co-host, Sean, at Indy Forever on Twitter. We are 3 weeks away, 20 days away from Notre Dame football. Anyways, guys, as always, stay safe and go Irish.
Go Irish.